Throughout my career, I've had opportunities to hunt all over the world and all over South Africa, but I always found myself returning to the Eastern Cape and realizing that the hunting I have right on my doorstep is truly amongst the best in the world. The diversity of landscapes, diversity of animals, and the friendly culture make this place a top destination for any serious hunter. And although there are many places to hunt in the Eastern Cape, some stand out a little more than others. An hour north of Port Elizabeth is Thorndale Safari Lodge, offering 5-star accommodation and 5-star hunting. And while in the past I've been completely happy to camp out in the bush and rough it a bit, this time I wanted to treat myself to something special and set myself the goal of shooting one of my dream animals, the Nyala. The Nyala is one of the 4 spiral-horned antelope in the Eastern Cape, the others being the eland, the bushbuck, and the kudu. Of all of these, the Nyala has to be my favorite. They are so beautiful, they are shy, and they've got real character. A true African classic. Because this species was high on my to-do list, and because hunting with a camera crew can be incredibly difficult, I wanted to do it properly, and so I drove out to Thorndale a couple days early to give myself some extra time. The weather wasn't great to start off with. It was very windy, the rain was on and off, but it was almost a blessing in disguise because instead of getting there and hunting immediately, I had the opportunity to relax a bit and enjoy the lodge for what it was meant to be. A place to relax and a place to enjoy the comforts of luxury while still feeling completely in touch with the untamed landscapes around you. As the sun started to dip below the horizon and the light started to fade, we lit the fire in true South African style and brought a relaxing day to a close with some meat on the braai. Knowing full well that the following day would be full of action, we hit the hay early, after making use of the jacuzzi, of course, and dream of that beautiful Nyala bull. We could not have wished for a more perfect start to the day. The wind that had been blowing strongly the previous day had almost completely disappeared, and although there were still some low-lying clouds, it looked as if the rain would stay away. The plan of action was to start in the mountains where the terrain was a little more open and visibility was better. With conditions as good as they were, I was comfortable taking a shot out to 600 or 700 meters if an opportunity presented itself, and it wasn't long before the animals began to appear.
It'll be such a perfect setup from here. I'm very steady, Nyala's just on the other side of the hill, probably about 400 to 500 meters away. It would have been perfect, but we don't want to rush it because we have got the whole day. And there are probably Nyala out there that are bigger than that one, so we're being patient. It'll be very easy to get buck fever and make quick decisions, but we've got the whole day still.
While Matt and Petrus were taking the time to examine each animal across the valley and study their features, I was taking conditions into account, measuring wind speed and direction, temperature, and density altitude. I've been hunting long enough to know that you need to be fully prepared to take longer shots. Sometimes they are the only opportunities you get. But in this case, after some time, we decided to actually move on, as the kudu and the Nyala that we were looking at just weren't the ones that we were looking for. No sooner had we started moving towards the next lookout point, and suddenly Matt spots a group of Nyala and a nice trophy bull, and once again it is all happening.
There now, that one is in the open, walking to the left there. To the right or left of this road goes up. You see this one that goes up, this one that goes up this?
Yeah.
It's on the right. But you see this path that joins it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you take that big frame boom there, go straight up 100 meters, and then to the left you can see the black dots there.
Okay, yeah.
The group keeps moving up the hill about 800 meters in front of us, so we have to follow at a distance, and they take us up hills, down hills, through valleys, until eventually they move into the thick bush and we just lose them completely.
Well, looks like they got away from us again. That could have been potentially a perfect setup, but unfortunately they were on a mission. They were moving, obviously just trying to find a new place to browse. Gone up and down hills here. It's been quite strenuous, but it looks like we've lost them, so it's back to square one. Hopefully we can locate them at some point again and put on another stalk, but for now it's back to square one. So let's see how we do.
With time starting to tick on, we know that it will only get more difficult the longer we wait. With all the nutritious plants and bushes like speckboom growing at the bottom of the mountains, the Nyala tend to move down as the sun starts to heat up the land, and with the terrain below us being so thick and flat, we know that it will be exponentially more difficult to find the animals at the bottom.
Well, the sun's just starting to come out now, which is fantastic. The landscape is really, really beautiful. It's the first time we've really seen the sun properly over the last few days, but really scenic backdrop over here. We can hear lions roaring on the property next door, about 7 kilometers, maybe 10 kilometers away. So that's quite interesting, and all we need now is a Nyala. One of the best things about hunting in South Africa is that there's never any wasted time. Even if you have a stalk that doesn't work out or something, you are always able to see beautiful sights. You get to see different animals, you get to hear the birds, you get to feel the sun in your face, and you really are in touch with nature. We're standing on a hill here, not having found the animal that we want yet, but just to be able to see these views here with the shadows moving over the bush, it's absolutely incredible. This is what I come out here for. It's not just about the trophy, it's not just about the animal, it's about the full experience, and this is as good as it gets.
Suddenly, things begin to happen very quickly as Petrus spots a big Nyala bull walking through the bush below us, and it's all systems go. With the animal moving through the thicket, it is very difficult to see him, let alone to set up both the rifle and the camera at the same time. But our PH Matt comes up with a plan, predicts where the Nyala might be heading, and tells me to set up in an open area about 60 meters away. And before we know it, we have our bull standing broadside right in front of us.
Good shot. Good shot. He's going to go down. He's going.
Oh, that happened quickly.
I think everyone's heart is racing now.
I tell you what, I don't often get buck fever. been doing this for a long time, and I think a lot of the hunts I do, you've got time to set up and things happen slowly and you're kind of able to ease into it. We've been looking the whole morning for a Nyala, and with no success. We've done some walking over hills and stuff, and had some opportunities at longer ranges, and then all of a sudden we're on top of the hill, we're enjoying the view, boom, Nyala comes out. This one's in the thick stuff, so I wasn't really sure how it was going to play out. 60 meters. That's probably one of the closest shots I've ever taken. But you know, you've got to be prepared to do anything, and it just happened so nicely. And that is an absolute dream come true for me. It's probably my favorite animal, perhaps alongside a kudu, but the spiral horn antelope are my favorite. Nyala's right up there with the best. It's just such a beautiful, timid, shy animal. To get one down is really special. So let's go take a look.
Beautiful.
Matt,
Thank you so much.
great shot. Well done, Ryan.
Thank you.
Well done.
There was speckworm just like where his vitals were, to aim just over it.
Yeah,
So
I
I
saw
thought
that,
I
yeah.
was gonna, you know, I wasn't sure if I'd even hit the lungs.
Yeah.
But I'd rather shoot on the shoulder than shoot low, and the bush kind of deflects it, or the bullet
Yes,
shatters or
yeah.
something. So
I mean, you can see where
but
your
it's pretty
expertise
good.
over there is bloody perfect.
Mm.
You know.
Which way was he standing? Is this the exit
That's
or
the
entry?
exit. That's
Okay.
the exit, yeah.
Well, that was a really, really, really special hunt. I generally don't like to be too optimistic when I go hunting, because I know that things often don't work out the way you plan. That's just the way it is in Africa, but this time round, it could not have played out any better. We came out here really, really early, probably around 5 o'clock, 5:15 this morning, just as the sun was starting to peak up. It was still quite cold, very overcast, and we had quite a few stalks that just didn't really work out. The Nyala they were all on the move, so it was very difficult to actually get set up and take a shot, even though we saw some really good animals. And then all of a sudden, this big boy comes out, and it was all systems go, 60-meter shot, and placed the shot quite well. He probably ran about 10 meters and straight down. And you know, it's such a beautiful species, but also this particular specimen is a beautiful animal. So I really could not be happier. Thorndale Safaris has exceeded my expectations. I'm extremely happy. They've really done the business. They've come true on their promises to get me one of these, and I'm really overjoyed. So for me, it's a lot more than just the trophy. I hunt firstly for the experience. Secondly, it's a practical way to actually try out my shooting skills. But this is such a beautiful specimen. This one is definitely going on my wall.
With a very enjoyable and successful morning done and dusted, we take the Nyala to the cold room to be processed before heading back to the lodge and taking some time to relax and cool off. With the sun out in full force, we decide to spend a few hours resting, enjoying the shade, before meeting up again at 3:30 and heading out on the next hunt. In the next episode, we will be out once again at Thorndale Safaris, but this time we'll be out in the plains for an ostrich hunt, which eventually turns into a blue wildebeest hunt. Thanks for joining us on this one. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.